Hello everybody. So this is Suguwa. This is a little bit of impromptu live stream because not many time to explain here, but I'll try to go. Okay. So meanwhile, let's see. Not going to be that long. So give me a little bit of time, okay? So. Oh, okay. Looks like maybe. Okay, so I'll just go straight to the point.
Here in Houston in Mission Control, we are now
So this is
monitoring
it.
the demating of the
So
umbilical.
don't forget to subscribe to Space too, because I'm using
power
his
to
stream
the
here.
Dragon
So
Freedom during
thank
the
you very
time
much,
it was
and also
docked to the
subscribe to
zenith or
mine.
space-facing port
And
of the
don't
Harmony
forget to comment
module.
whatever is it.
Originally, Freedom docked at the forward port of
So
Harmony,
here we go.
and
I'm
then
going.
back on November 3rd with
Okay,
Williams,
on
Wilmore,
Suni.
Hagen,
So it should be
Gorbunoff
good.
on board. Umbilical demate reported to be complete.
Yeah.
As we stand by for the initiation of the opening of the hooks, 2 gangs of hooks, 12 hooks in all, holding Dragon to the docking port on the zenith side of Harmony. Again, Harmony was the port of call for Freedom initially when it arrived back in September. The forward port itself, it experienced a relocation maneuver with Haig, Gorbunoff, Williams, and Wilmore on board back on November 3rd to move from the forward port to the zenith port, a short spin around the block to reposition that spacecraft where it has been mated and docked to the International Space Station since last November.
Where is it? My channel should be here.
3.5 minutes away from physical separation.
I guess almost done. Me a little bit of time. Okay, so we should be fine here. Okay, so it should be good. Yeah, should be good.
Once the physical separation occurs between Dragon and the docking port on Harmony, it will begin to move above the station at a very slow rate of about 1/10 of a meter per second. Then we'll move behind the station. A series of departure burns will then put it on a trajectory.
So at this point, you should see that around all of his this here, it will be unhooked from the
orbit burn
from the capsule itself, from the crew capsule itself,
Eastern time on Tuesday afternoon,
undocking away from
leg of the ride home from Williams, Wilmore, Hagen, Gorbunoff.
Crew Dragon Endurance, if I remember correctly, or Endeavor, either these two. So we're going to see. It's not going to be that long.
2.5 minutes to go until physical separation. All systems reported to be in great shape.
All systems reported to be in great shape.
Off the coast of Florida at the splashdown sites indicates pristine
I'm
weather
just posting
for the
here,
arrival of the Crew-9 crew on Tuesday afternoon.
I'm streaming right now.
The first gang of hooks has opened, standing by for the second.
Yeah, ready for the second.
Of the docking interface
There's also should be there.
One another to initiate that opening rate
watch out for that.
For Dragon.
Okay, come on. Come on. Is it going to happen?
90 seconds till physical separation. Heading into the home stretch. For Williams and Wilmore, the beginning of the end for a 9.5-month mission in space.
Oh, 9.5. Okay. I stand to be corrected from my description there. It's totally
the interface between Dragon and the International Docking Adapter no longer sealed. The International Space Station and Dragon flying from southwest to northeast across the Pacific Ocean at an altitude of 261 statute miles.
All right. Okay, there should be separation by physical separation by now. So let's see. It's approximately still have chance here. Okay, so let's see. Come on. I mean, if you remember about the case back in the day, you know that Butch William and also Sunita Williams. Yeah. Basically,
All hooks open.
okay, all hook open,
All
and
hooks are
now
open.
it's all. It has successfully separated
And
from the.
undocking confirmed.
Yeah, it has
Freedom
successfully
is free of its
separated
moorings.
from the ISS. So
Suni Williams and
successfully
Butch Wilmore
undocking,
begin their
Zero
belated
zero
undocking,
trip
triangle
and
home.
separation
on
confirmed.
all that's left right now is it should close doors. Here, you can see it should close that
Undocking occurring right on time at
upper.
12:05 a.m.
How do I
Central
say
Time,
upper? Let's just say upper
1:05 a.m.
NOSCON here.
Eastern Time.
As upper retractable NOSCON here, so it can safely goes back to the Earth. Huh. Nice.
Good motion, good stability on Dragon as it backs away.
Freedom,
Yep.
SpaceX on the big loop, depart burn 0 nominal.
All right. Okay, you can see the the RCS has already been opened. And
Good opening rate reported by the
Whoa.
visiting vehicle officer.
Okay, so this is how it's. This is the view from the Crew Dragon capsule here. You can see from the camera. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so this is inside of the capsule. Oh yeah, and let me continue a little bit of my of the story here. Is that if I remember
Dragon's
correctly,
attitude
if
control
you
system
actually
functioning as
refer to my
advertised.
previous when I do this trial broadcast or basically trial live stream, I've already streamed this before. This Butch William and Sunita if I remember correctly, but this two has nothing to do. Butch William, whatever is it, Butch and Sunita actually riding riding up to the Boeing Starliner back in the day, and even before they reached the ISS, it's let's just say it has a lot of weird RCS bug valve, some malfunction and whatnot, but they successfully dock. Okay, but what also happens in the flight, you need to remember is that because of that situation, NASA just decided that instead of risking both of their life, they just decided to just undock that Starliner without any crew, and it came back to the Earth safely despite these circumstances. And after that, a little bit time has passed, and Crew-9 were launched. Basically, if I remember, these two also agreed to be reassigned as the Crew-9. As the crew. Basically as the part of the Crew-9 mission there, because you know that fact, of course.
With you guys, but many people
And
love you and whom you
and
love
and also
are
because
waiting for you. So
and because maybe and also if I remember, because NASA decided that it's way too costly to bring them back home. I mean, like, imagine you want to keep the space station fresh, right? And you want to ensure that everything looking fine while they're still there. So NASA decided rather than these two just going back to home, NASA decided that why not you guys just go there and stay there for some times until Crew 9 and 10 arrives. Okay, so that's how we are
Exchange of poignant words
how we are
between the Dragon commander Nick Hague as well as the Crew 10
so basically
the
they are
Crew
sort
10
of
crew members
voluntarily also decided
and
we
McLean,
still going to stay there
Takoya
partly
Onishi, and Don
and
Pettit offering their best wishes and Godspeed for a safe return to Earth on Tuesday afternoon for the quartet
Godspeed
aboard the Dragon Freedom.
Crew 9 slash Boe-CFT mission. Godspeed. Okay. Mm-mm. Yeah. Okay. So this is how the mission looks like, right? Yeah. This is how typically you can see there is a mission control center. Center. This is from the Houghton in California. This is the SpaceX one,
Dragon
and this one
continues
is
an
the,
opening
if I
rate away
remember,
from the
the
zenith port
Houston.
of the
If I
Harmony
remember correctly,
module of the
Houston.
International Space
This one
Station.
is the NASA.
Undocking occurring
As you can
just
see,
about
it should
5
be
minutes
fine.
ago at 12:05 a.m. Central Time, 1:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, coming up here in the next minute or so will be
Yeah.
the spacecraft's exit from what is called the keep-out sphere. That is the first imaginary line
the keep-out sphere.
between the space station and
just
the
for the
departure
safety,
corridor
safety.
for the Dragon itself.
Yeah, just for the
That
safety
will be
margin, if I
followed
remember
by
correctly.
Dragon maneuvering to a Sun
Usually, yeah, this
communications
is how it
pointing
works.
orientation.
This is
And
the
to
depart
enable
burn
better
number 0,
communications
the first
between
one we can
the
see,
tracking and data
and the
relay
number,
satellite system
and then
Dragon's
the first
communications
actual burn,
capability itself.
burn one sphere,
The approach
burn
ellipsoid
one
exit, that basically is
here.
the end of
This is where
integrated
you can see
operations, where
going.
Dragon will
It will
cross
be
that
going
imaginary
out
line
from there.
to move
So
beyond the
that's how
neighborhood of the
it
station,
works
as it
actually.
were, is scheduled about 14 minutes from now.
Yeah. So that's it. Actual burn,
Capability itself.
burn one sphere,
The approach
burn
ellipsoid
one.
exit, that basically.
Nice. So,
The
for anyone
burn
watching
now
here,
complete,
welcome,
all
welcome,
nominal.
Depart
everyone.
burn 1 nominal.
So,
Your go to DOF suits per procedure 4.012.
yeah.
And a final reminder that the
So
big loop will
welcome
be
everyone.
deactivated
Everybody,
following Dragon's exit from
please,
the approach ellipsoid.
please make yourself feel like home. There's not so much thing I want to do here.
And we are good to drop suits. That's in work momentarily. We'll expect to go off big loop when we get outside the closer.
Okay, so as you
That's
can
good
see,
readback,
this is
Freedom.
the road
With all
times
the
right now.
Freedom thrusters
His
operating in
place
perfect
around
fashion,
1:12,
the acknowledgement by the
1:12,
spacecraft communicator in Hawthorne
almost
to
half
Commander Nick Hague
a.m.
aboard
in his
Freedom,
time, Eastern
that the crew has been given the
daylight
go-ahead to
time,
get
if I
out of
remember.
their entry suits for the time being.
For me here, it's basically 12
Given
hours
more
ahead.
comfortable clothing,
Right
as
now, I'm
Dragon
in
continues its
1
traverse
1
away from the
13
International Space
70
Station. This will continue throughout
around
the course
20
of the
1:13
overnight hours
22
into tomorrow
p.m. right now.
afternoon. A
So
series
12
of
hours ahead
pre-programmed
of him.
maneuvers
But
that will
now we are
enable
in the
Freedom
same day,
to be in a
of course.
position
So
for its deorbit
yeah,
burn on
it's actually
Tuesday afternoon.
pretty good so far.
That deorbit burn is scheduled to take place
Yeah.
at 4:11 p.m. Central Time, 5:11 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
It'll be a 7-minute,
Hopefully this is good for you
29-second
guys.
braking maneuver to enable Dragon to slip out of orbit. Its velocity slowed by 53.2 meters per second, enabling it to begin its high-speed entry back through Earth's atmosphere in a
Thank you, Space Speed, for
parachute-assisted splashdown off the Gulf of Mexico and the Gulf of
boosting my
America
post.
at 4:57 p.m.
Mastodon.
Central,
Yeah, thank you.
5:57 p.m.
Thank you very
Eastern
much.
Time.
I appreciate it.
Station and Houston. On the big loop, Dragon has exited the keep-out sphere.
Okay, already out. Should be already almost outside the out sphere by now, which is the safety, imaginary safety line for them to approach this space station. But they don't need this anymore. They can just go back to Earth.
Freedom SpaceX on the
McLean,
big loop. Dragon has
acknowledging.
exited the approach ellipsoid and is on a 24-hour
Oh,
safe free drift path.
It's
Configure comm
freedom.
for Dragon to ground in preparation
Okay,
for big loop
so Crew
deactivation.
Dragon Freedom in this case. Yeah, I stand corrected here too. Okay, so looking pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
I'm Freedom SpaceX on the big loop. Premature call. We have exited the keep out sphere but are still in the approach ellipsoid.
Okay, already out from the keep out sphere, but still within the ellipsoid approach, like that it says there. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. Oh, so to anyone watching here, welcome. Feel free to make yourself.
Freedom, we have you loud and clear.
Right
How
now.
us?
Feel free. Oh, okay, pretty good.
With Dragon having crossed the keep-out sphere, next major milestone will be the exiting of the approach ellipsoid to depart the neighborhood of the station. With that, we'll toss it for the moment back to Hawthorne and Veronica and Sandra.
All right.
Thanks so much, Rob. As Rob just mentioned, we are now waiting for Dragon to exit the approach ellipsoid, also known as AE, which is another imaginary shape, this time a three-dimensional ellipsoid measuring 4 kilometers by 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, in the same family as the keep-out sphere. It's one of several safety zones set up to govern visiting spacecraft, either arriving or departing the station. Before moving into the keep-out sphere or the approach ellipsoid, spacecraft would have to be configured where they would not cross the imaginary boundary for a set period of time, even if the spacecraft lost all maneuvering.
And right now, it should be...
That's right, and that approach ellipsoid, once we get past that milestone, will be something that we call the end of integrated operations. And integrated operations means that we are talking to each other on the big loop. So we did hear those communications back and forth. The big loop is essentially not only the crew on the International Space Station, the crew in Dragon, but also both Mission Control Houston and in Hawthorne. Hence the name The Big Loop, because they're all working together to make sure that they have common communications during some of these dynamic portions of flight. So again, we are standing by for approach ellipsoid exit at 10:24 p.m. Pacific time. And on your screen there, we are getting a view of Dragon from the International Space Station, now quite a bit smaller than when we just saw a few minutes ago, undocking at 10:05 p.m. Pacific. Also in the line of sight there, we have a small view of the Canada arm, which is a robotic arm that helps do some maneuvering and is utilized a lot during spacewalks on board the International Space Station. So to recap, the hatches between the International Space Station and Dragon were closed earlier today at 8:05 p.m. Pacific, 11:05 p.m. Eastern. Since then, the crew has settled in and is working to take off their spacesuits for their 17-hour journey back to Earth. The joint NASA and SpaceX teams did, of course, poll go to proceed with undocking. And that undocking command was then sent at 10 p.m. Pacific, followed by umbilical retract. Space Station and Dragon were traveling 261 statute miles off the coast of Guam over the Pacific Ocean. Dragon then completed 2 of 4 departure burns and has exited the keep-out sphere. And we are now just minutes away from Dragon crossing the approach ellipsoid to set the spacecraft and Crew-9 up for their path back to Earth. Again, Dragon is targeting to splash down off the coast of Florida in the Gulf at 2:57 p.m. Pacific, 5:57 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, March 18th, marking the completion of a long-duration science and research mission.
Great views right now on your screen of Mission Control here in Hawthorne, California.
It looks like we're starting to get maybe some views there of Dragon as well. These views are being controlled by one of the flight controllers in Mission Control Houston called Cronus, and they help to make sure that the cameras are in position to view not only visiting vehicles that are arriving and departing, but also help to ensure that cameras are in position to get great Earth views, ensure that perhaps if we're flying over a natural disaster like a hurricane or a wildfire, they are ensuring that those great cameras on board the International Space Station are being put to good use to capture all of the science and research that we can aboard the microgravity laboratory. And, you know, fun fact, actually, the International Space Station will be celebrating 25 years of continuous human presence this November. So if you are younger than 25 years old, you have never known a day in your life where there was not a human being living and working aboard the International Space Station.
That is so cool to me. It's just this amazing step forward for human exploration in space.
Of course.
And with that, we're going to check back in with Rob Navius at the Johnson Space Center one more time. Go ahead, Rob.
Thank you, Sandra. You mentioned that continuous presence on board the International Space Station. We are approaching the point of the approach ellipsoid exit, which will mark the end of integrated operations
so right now,
with the International Space Station and the flight control team here in Houston. Just a reminder, on board, 7 crew members representing 3 nations, Alexei Ovchinin, the station commander, and his Roscosmos colleagues Ivan Wagner and Kirill Peskov, Anne McLean, Nicole Ayers, and Don Pettit of NASA, and Takoya Onishi of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. Ovchinin, Wagner, and Pettit are next up to depart the station on April 19th. They are scheduled to return home to the steppe of Kazakhstan and a parachute-assisted landing on April 19th U.S. time, April 20th in Kazakhstan. Before that happens,
they are going.
Another NASA astronaut,
So
Johnny
for this
Kim,
crew, then
along with
they
2
will be
Roscosmos
back
cosmonauts, will be launching
next
from
month.
Baikonur on
Okay.
April 8th, as that continuous presence of researchers on board the International Space Station continues unbroken. Sandra?
All right. Oh, I see.
And thank you so much, Rob, for that update. We really appreciate you joining us here as you spent your evening in Mission Control Houston. Again, we're continuing to get these views following Dragon's undocking from the International Space Station at 10:05 p.m. Pacific time. That sets us up for a splashdown tomorrow afternoon at 2:57 p.m. Pacific time off the coast of Florida.
And then they are basically at the edge of the ellipsoid.
And so we did mention that the crew was busy with a lot of science and research investigations during their time on board the International Space Station. That really is the whole point of the International Space Station, is to conduct science and research investigations,
and also
eventually leading to longer duration missions to the moon and then on to Mars.
The Mission Control Center in Houston, it will be going to the Houghton.
Further communications from Crew-9 on board Dragon Freedom
to be Houghton, which is going to be the SpaceX mission.
Comment on some of the amazing science that Crew-9 conducted while they were on board the station.
And
in total, Crew-9 completed more than 150 experiments, conducting over 900 hours of research.
Some other facts that I can also tell
some of those
you
time-sensitive experiments will be
when
among
you're
the first
up in
offloaded
space,
off the capsule and then returned to various research facilities across the country so that the science can
edging slightly a little bit faster than usual than if you're on the Earth.
Science,
yeah, basically
because of one of which was
Einstein
to actually swab the outside of the International Space Station for microorganisms to see if anything might potentially be able to survive the harsh environment of space, which is
and
pretty
also
interesting. Another one was a spacewalk to remove a radio frequency group, or the RFG. NASA astronaut Suni Williams was able to successfully remove that, which was a big milestone for NASA.
Usually, it's pretty mandatory by them to also,
and as you mentioned, over 100
to also kind of
over 530 hours specifically dedicated to NASA science
there will be
between NASA astronauts Butch, Wilmore, and Sunita Lyn. So that just goes to show the great use that the microgravity lab has for science and research on the ground.
They still can sort of move.
I still can't get over that fact that you shared that it has been almost 25 years of continuous operation on board the ISS. That's amazing.
But
yes,
of course,
over 270
when they are back. All right. So and when they are going back again to the Earth, of course, what they're going to do, they are going to have physical rehabilitation, or like, but sometimes until they finally can walk again and whatnot. So yeah, so that's that's we're hearing.
17, I did a whole series of kind of inspection documentation photos before departure, and then a series after departure per the instructions. So 2 different folders with before and after photos.
All right.
We copy.
And that was the voice of NASA astronaut Anne McLean, who is still on board the International Space Station, stepping through procedures with the ground to wrap up after undocking, taking some photography of the hatch that the team on the ground will inspect, make sure everything checks out just fine. So we are awaiting the confirmation that Crew Dragon Freedom has exited the approach ellipsoid. We're expecting that here in just a couple of seconds here, really. So we might hear that call out here shortly.
Okay. That's here.
And again, if you're just joining us, the approach ellipsoid is a three-dimensional ellipsoid measuring 4 kilometers by 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers in the same family as the keep-out sphere. One of the key differences with the AE is that vehicles outside of it have to be on what we call a 24-hour safe free drift trajectory, which means that the spacecraft would not cross into the approach ellipsoid for at least 24 hours again, even if it lost all maneuvering.
That's exactly right. So we'll continue to stand by for that. Now, you may be wondering, what will the crew be doing during their 17-hour phasing? You did hear the call out earlier that they had to go to doff or take off their spacesuits. So they'll get settled in, have the opportunity to have a meal and try to get some sleep before their targeted splashdown off the coast of Florida. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:57 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow afternoon.
Right, but you can.
So we are looking forward to seeing them splash down off the coast of Florida tomorrow.
You can check a little bit what's happening.
So continue
here.
to stand by for that approach ellipsoid exit. Should be hearing the call out any moment.
Yeah, the ellipsoid exit. What I can tell you, in case you are watching here again,
the space station, Dragon, Hawthorne.
It's basically another way to say that they are basically
Freedom SpaceX on the big loop. Dragon has now exited the approach ellipsoid and is on a 24-hour
now they've already exit.
Please make sure that comm is configured for Dragon to ground.
Ellipsoid, which means that originally when the crew wants to go to the space station, right? Usually they have some margins about where you want to step and what's on. It's like imagine you want to go from level 1 and then you want to go to level 2, 3 and what's on. There is the procedure here and there. So now because they have already exit that ellipsoid approach, they've already exit that ellipsoid approach zone. Now they no longer bind anymore to the
mission control and Dragon.
They no longer bind with the approach technique, which is going to the space station. It's no longer there. So now they are on the way back to they are now on the way back to Earth, and also because of that, as you have heard from the call out, it also means that it's going to be like this, right? It also means that they have to go back to Earth 24 hours after they've already departed, already exit from that zone. So they should be arriving maybe around 1.
With that, Crew-9 has officially departed the International Space Station. As
Sandra
mentioned, it will take them about
arriving
17
by tomorrow,
hours until they make their way back to Earth. So the crew is currently settling, as Sandra mentioned, for a little bit of dinner, maybe get their suits off before they take some time to rest before returning to Earth.
Tomorrow.
Dragon is, of course, targeted to splash down off the coast of Florida tomorrow at 5:57 p.m. Eastern, 2:57 p.m. Pacific on March 18th. Followed by the crew getting picked up at sea by a SpaceX recovery vessel. As they rest up, our teams here will continue to keep an eye on the weather to ensure a safe return for Dragon and our Crew-9 astronauts.
And galaxies,
Our coverage here in Hawthorne today is wrapping up for now. We will turn it over to the NASA team in Houston to take us through the next phases of the Crew-9 mission. Our friends at the Johnson Space Center will provide continuous live audio-only coverage along Crew-9's journey home until we rejoin tomorrow.
I think for another part, you can also say that for the satellite, usually I like to cover something more like, how do I say?
NASA mission audio live
I like to talk a little bit more on the satellite launch stuff, okay?
Meanwhile, we'll rejoin you for live visual coverage starting roughly 1 hour prior to splashdown at 1:45 p.m. Pacific. As always, you can find mission updates on X at NASA, at SpaceX, and on the web at nasa.gov.
I can say
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you and our Crew-9 astronauts soon.
Alright, so we are going to see them soon. And now, here is it. It's already at the end. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, please subscribe to both ways, and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Okay. Shall we? Let's go. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for everyone for watching, and yeah, not so much to cover here. Yeah, unfortunately it's done. Yeah, and also another thing. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, if not, yeah, welcome. Yeah, so it's a little bit anti-climate, isn't it? Yeah, so you can see. So I like this. His hand to no space. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe not so. It's more like following. Yeah, I like it. So thank you so much for watching. So it's a little bit short, because I do have to rush for. I do have to rush back here, and also sadly I didn't bring my laptop, so I cannot edit in real time. So that's why a little bit hectic here and there. I mean, even this morning I do have to chase the bus just to go to class. So what can yeah? So what can we do? Yeah, and also yeah, again, agreed. Okay. Yeah, understood. So I don't want to yap too much. I would like to have a rest right now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's been a nice talk here, and maybe I need to add a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe I need to add some block in, so I can just chat directly inside the OBS. So that's all, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, everyone. Bye bye. Alright, so we have done here. We've already done our job here, and I think I wanna end stream, because I really want to end this stream. What you gonna do? You gonna pick 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm going to end this stream just almost right here. So I'm going to end according to my stream timer will be 35 minutes. Okay, so here we go. 10 seconds, and I'm going to end right now. And I want to close it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you, everyone. Goodbye. Take care. Toodaloo.